Good morning, afternoon or evening, as the case may be. My name's Alan Murray. It's my great pleasure to be the Membership Vice President at a great club, Peninsula Toastmasters, on the beautiful Redcliffe Peninsula. Our new Divisional Director, Jenny, has asked me to drop by and to just speak a little bit about our club. She knows of it and some of the things that have happened in more recent times. Our club has been in operation for 38 years, and like all clubs, it's had its ups, it's had its downs, and we've got to a point now where we think we might have just cottoned on to what makes it work for us. Whatever I talk about today will be a smorgasbord. It's yours, any parts of it, take it, leave it, whatever. The first thing that made a change for us 12 months ago, as a result of the power of a question, one of our members found that the library would allow us to use a couple of their rooms. It's one room which is divided. It's become now a large room with a kitchen down the back. The benefit here was an upgrade in every single way. Our hall, which was brick, cold, hot, echoey, has been replaced now by a room which is air conditioned, it's carpeted, overhead projector, roll-away tables, comfortable chairs, nice kitchen that we can use, and undercover parking. The benefits are not just to us as members of the club, but from the point of view of credibility. Whereas when we would invite guests in the past to our old location, it would be a long explanation as to how you got there. We simply say, Redcliffe Library, underground car park. Almost everybody understands it. So we're happier as a club, we're a higher profile in the community, and we have no trouble in people recognising who we are and where we are. The other thing that worked in our favour was our website was a little bit obscure. Now, as a result of some work with some of our members, it's now readily accessible, easy to find, and so anybody who's looking for a Toastmaster club in the Redcliffe area will find us without any trouble. Now, once they've come to the website and they've put in their information and sent it off, the next thing that happens is that the VP membership will be notified of that person. Now, my role here then, of course, as you all know, is to follow the person up and have them along to a meeting and assess their situation and whether they'd like to join the club. One of the things for me in this role is there's something that I always do and there's something that I never do. What it is that I always do is ask questions. So in other words, our prospect's name is Terry. When I call Terry, I have some simple things I ask him. Terry, if you are part of a Toastmasters club, what do you think the benefit would be? He may have a good idea or no idea, but it's the start of a conversation. What I'm looking to do, I have only one goal in talking to Terry, and that is to have him come along to a meeting of our Toastmasters club. The second thing, which is the thing I never do, is to answer questions about, so what do you do, how many people are there, what happens, etc. All the details. I don't go into that because you become a Toastmaster based on your emotional response to having come to a meeting. So therefore, the aim is to, for example, say to Terry, Terry, if you could put aside one Monday out of the rest of your life and come along as my guest, sit down with our club, watch everything, see what goes on, have a beautiful supper, and by the time it's done, you tell me whether you have any further interest. That's as far as I'll go with that, because that could be another topic altogether. One of the things in talking to Terry is that I point out that the other part of my role in our club is as the orientation officer. Now, the orientation officer, his role is to get each new member off to as good a start as possible. So when I sit down to do an orientation with someone, which will be about 50 minutes, I want to give them some brief ideas about Toastmasters if they have none. I want to let them know how they get started, have them understand that I'm the one who will help them get started, and we go through the process of showing them how it's done. Now, the benefit that comes out of that is that all of a sudden your new prospect understands that he doesn't walk into something and is left to work it out for himself. One of the ways that that has made things much easier is that I can give the same information to each and every new member in our club. So instead of having some wild ideas about various things they each know, the first thing I do is an icebreaker speech. I tell them what it is, what a speech is constructed of, body, 3 points, conclusion, linking back to whatever you call the speech, and at the same time assure them, send this to me, I'll run through it, we'll talk about it some more. Now, by the time they get to do their icebreaker speech, it's a very familiar speech. I've let them know that they're doing a great job. It is a good speech, and it is, before it gets to that point. And one of the things that we're noticing is that we have some very strong icebreaker speeches. They are really coming along before they even attempt Project 2, which is how you start with a speech. The benefit to the individual becomes the benefit to the club, because all of a sudden they understand that they're part of something bigger than themselves, something that they will be helped with. All of our guests are very warmly welcomed. We never have a problem with them thinking that we're elitist or anything like that, so that by the time they finish their icebreaker speech, which is always welcomed with a standing ovation, they become very much involved in the culture of our club. It's likely that prior to the speech on that same night, they would have been inducted into the club, which is a short, formal approach, but which is quite impressive to both the individual and to the members of the club. The other thing that we've found that is very strongly coming through with the orientation process is that it gives me the opportunity to speak to our new member in terms of the two sides of what we do, the communication and the leadership. Now, my personal experience is that the leadership is generally the last thing you think of, because you got in, generally, for the purpose of improving your ability to communicate. Now, what this does automatically, we're finding, is that people join our club understanding the process and the process, and understanding also that the reasonable expectation is they will do very well at the speaking, and we will help them and help them learn how to do very well with the leadership, which in turn helps the club. Personally, I know I went for about 3 years before it occurred to me that I was simply just being selfish by doing all the communication side with speeches, etc., etc. And at that point, I understood the benefit of giving back something which the club had given to me. One of the most successful ways that I believe clubs can grow, aside from the website, so on, is something which we've experienced only recently in the last 6 or 8 months in our club. We have one of our members who, over a period of time, has brought along 4 guests. Of those 4 guests, 2 are now members. We have 2 other members who've brought along guests, known personally to them. They too are members. The bottom line, from what I can see, is that when you've got members in your club who understand what they're in, who understand that over a period of time they will become better at doing the things they want to become better at, they will be quite happy to invite a friend, a colleague, a client, anybody who in their conversation they find out may have similar desires to what they have. So the credibility factor can come into this in a lot of different ways. First of all, the location gives credibility. Secondly, the website, how it looks, how it works, gives credibility. Thirdly, the meeting and how it's run gives credibility. There's very few people who we get to our club who at some point, have they had some experience in the past with meetings, will say, I'm amazed. In just 2 hours, we've had that, and that. Normally, we hear, I could be in a meeting for 2 hours and get almost, it seems, nothing done. So that's credibility. But the biggest credibility in any club, before it ever starts in any of those areas, is the credibility of the members themselves. We have a member in our club, for example, who has followed the procedure with speeches. He started with his icebreaker. He went through 1, 2, all the way through to 10. And there's one person who I always refer to as I speak, having done it the way it's meant to be done and achieving the fact that he's now an excellent speaker, a very good speaker. So my encouragement to our club, my encouragement to your club would be to look to your own members, to be thinking in terms of who do I know who might have a benefit for what I'm doing. One of the other things that I've come to understand is that very trite saying, attitude determines altitude. Oh yes, it's trite. It's been around for years, but it doesn't stop it being true. And I firmly believe that it is completely true. One of the things that we recognise at Peninsula Toastmasters is that there is not any one person anywhere who we need in our club for it to succeed. So in other words, when somebody comes along as a prospective member, we will do what we do, which thankfully just happens to be that our members will come up to that person and go, "G'day Terry, my name's so-and-so, hope you enjoy your night here." When we have supper, that person won't be short of having somebody to talk to, and it won't be the same person all the time. The whole club participates. It's a vital thing. In terms of what it is that we as Toastmasters have, well, what have we got? We have the opportunity to go from wherever we start through to wherever we want to go. All there, all planned, with assistance from everybody who wants to, and for the total cost of mere membership. It's all there. I've never spoken to a prospective member yet who said to me anything in the way of speaking or leadership that I couldn't respond, "Great, you'll love what we've got here," and to come along. So really that summarises how this works. It's just a perspective. It's our perspective on what happens with our club. Thankfully we were able to achieve our 8 new members last year. We had some more prior to that, we've had some since, and that's the way that we're looking to continue it, because there's strength in numbers. And whereas at times in the past, a number of years ago, we might turn up to maybe 8 or 10, possibly 12 participants, now on average we can come in knowing we're going to have a crackerjack meeting. There's going to be laughter, good time, because we've got somewhere between 18 to 22 people, sometimes more. Everyone's looking to be there. They're there for a purpose. We relate well because we're very proud of the fact that we are all improving. We're all getting better. We're all helping others to improve and to get better. And our club, it's better and it gets better. But it's all a perspective. Now, perspective is something that goes back a long time, even as far back as the mid-1960s. It was during that time that there was a movie being made. It was called The Greatest Story Ever Told. And it was huge. It was going to be a blockbuster. The top names, all the top names were involved in this movie somewhere along the way, including John Wayne. And John Wayne is better known for his Western movies than anything else. But The Greatest Story Ever Told was about the life of Jesus Christ. Now in the final scenes where he's up there on the cross, this is where John Wayne's line comes in. So everything happens and he stands there as the centurion in his tin hat and his little leather skirt, and he says, "That truly was the Son of God." And the director rushes out and he says, John, no. This is the big finale of our movie. This needs to be addressed with drama and with passion, even awe. And John says, oh, okay, right, I've got it. Let's do it again. Yeah. So he stands there and the lightning and the thunder and everything, and he stands there and with his arrow and he looks up and he goes, oh, this truly was the Son of God. It's all just a matter of perspective. If there's something that I've covered today that is good for you personally, or that is good for your club, feel free to use it, because the more clubs with greater membership and stronger ways to do what we do there are in this country, the better the country's going to be. That's going to be better for all of us.